Hello everyone, my name is Javier Gomez. I'm a member of the UDS technical team. In this video I'll show you how to configure, install and deploy the UDS appliances to have a UDS platform completely functional. So the minimum requirements for this video will be to have a valid UDS subscription and to have access to my downloads section so you can download the appliances that you need. So okay, to start we'll say that in this case we are going to use a VMware platform. My hypervisor is going to be a VMware client, so I will download the VMware appliances. We can click on them, so you can see them right here, and we will download the three of them: the database, the server, and the tunneler. So as you can see, they are downloading now. Let's wait for the download to finish and we'll keep going. Once we have them configured, we can go back to our VMware vSphere and we'll right click and we will click on deploy OVF template. And this time we will click on local file and we will choose the file we want to upload. We will start in this case with the database. We will click on it, we will go on next. It will be the same for the three appliances. We will put a name, the name that we want. We will tell him where we want it to be stored. Here on the review details we can see the size, the download size, and the size of the disk that is going to be prepared. It's going to be 10 gigs. So we'll click on next. Here in the storage we'll tell them where we want it to be stored. So in this case I'll click the SSD 2 and I'll click on next. And now we have the network tab. In this case I'll click, or my type of network will be a LAN, and I'll click on next. Then we'll have a brief of how everything that we've done, and we'll click on finish. And we will be seeing right now how the machine is going to be created. So we'll do exactly the same with the other two appliances. Okay, so we have our appliances implemented in our hypervisor. So now we'll go with the configuration. We'll start with the database, then we'll go with the server, then the tunnel. This is the order, and it is very important because it's the correct order for the correct configuration of UDS. So let's open this machine and let's open its web console. Starting now. Okay, so when the machine starts, we will see how it configures an IP. In our case, it's by DHCP. If we don't have one, we'll have to give in a static IP to these machines. The best way to configure the database would be to enter its cockpit, and we can enter it, put in its IP and the 9090 port. So we'll go to our browser, we'll put the IP of the server, for the database, 15.3 and 1990. We'll accept, and we'll go and put the user will be root, and the password will be a UDS. It's always the same. Okay, so once inside, we'll go to our terminal part and we will change its IP. We will put a static IP. We will put our nano HCC network interfaces, and we'll put the network adapter that we need. We will change the HCP by static. Okay. Then we'll put the address, the IP that we want. It will be the .49. Then we need our net mask, 240.0 in my case, and obviously the gateway, in my case .1. Okay, great. So when this is finished, we can save the file and exit. Okay, so once we've exited, the only thing we need to do more is to reboot. It's the best way for this configuration to finish, and we can see how it's starting to reboot. So we don't need the web console anymore, and we can see how the IP has changed for the one that we indicated. We can close this tab now and start with the configuration of the UDS server. Let's turn it on, and the same as before, let's open its web console here. Okay, now it's turning on. This machine will get an IP by our DHCP, and in this case it will do an auto login. So we don't have a DHCP, or we don't have an IP, or wallet IP. We can use the command line here, the command UDS IP set, and let's see the help to see what we can put. We can put a static IP here. Obviously we're going to need the address, its IP, the mask, of course, the gateway, and the host name. But in our case, we have a DHCP, so we really have a valid IP. So the same way as the database, let's enter the cockpit. It says web configurator, and the same way we'll put its IP in a browser and its port, that in this case is going to be 9900. We'll go to the browser and put its IP and port 9900, and we will open the wizard. We'll put the language in English and click on next. We accept, and we'll start with the net configuration. So we will change the IP right here. In this case, I'm going to put the .50, the mask, and the gateway, that in my case is a .1. Of course, we have a DNS, we can put it right here. We'll click on next, and it will validate our changes, and we'll just wait for the changes to be done. Okay, so we can see up here that its IP, it's already been changed. You can see it's .50 now, and we continue with the keyboard layout. In my case, I'm going to put the Spanish one in the server time. The same thing, I'll put Madrid, Europe, Madrid, and if you have an NTP server, you can put it here also. And you can change the date and the hour if you like it. We can click on next now. We'll go for the database configuration. In this case, we are going to use a remote database. We'll put its IP right here, .49, the port by default. The username is going to be UDS, and the password in this case is UDS. And the name of the database, that it is UDS also. So we'll click on next. It will start to configure a database and connect to it. This should not take very long. Okay, in the activation part, we can choose if you want to do an offline activation, contacting with our support team. They will give you the next steps to follow to activate your subscription. Or the best option that we recommend is the online activation, because you can get to your My UDS account and get your serial that we had give you. We can copy it from here and we can paste it in our activation key. Here we go. We'll put it there. We'll click on next, and we see how the online activation is in progress, and it should not take long. Okay, once it's activated, we'll go to the security tab. We'll go and put the root console password, and remember that that will be the password for the machine of the UDS server. So in this case, we will put UDS, and if we click the I, you will only have to put it once. Also, you have a super user. This will be the user that have total privileges through the UDS platform. In this case, it's going to be UDS admin, and the password will be UDS. As you see right here, we can click on next. Okay. In the certificate part, we will choose if you want to put our certificates or not. These certificates will have to be in a PEM format. You have to put your server certificate, your private key file, and if you need it or have it, the chain file. In this case, we won't put them right now, so we'll click on next. So our UDS server will be completed, the configuration, so we can reboot it right now. So we can see the machine is already rebooting. Let's give it a second. So we can see the machine is already working. We'll go to the browser, we'll put its IP, and we'll go to our UDS platform. Let's enter with the super user that we created before, the UDS admin and UDS. And we can see how the platform is working. It's empty, of course, but it's totally working and functional. So the last thing that we're going to do is to configure our tunnel. Let's close these tabs that we don't need. On my UDS tab, also we don't need it, and the platform, also we don't need it. Okay, so let's go to our tunnel. Let's start it. And the same way as the other ones, let's open its web console. Remember that always you'll have to have their server and the database connected and started so that the tunnel can connect to them. As you can see, it already has an IP, and because we have a DHCP, and it has done an auto login. So let's go to the web cockpit with the IP and the port. That is 9900. We will change our language to English, and we'll click on next. It will be the same as the other ones. Click on next, accept, and in our networking, we'll do the same thing. We'll put our host name, our domain if we have one, the IP that we want to put. In my case, I'll put the 51, the net mask, 240.0, our gateway, the DNS if you have one or need one. We'll click on next. We'll see the changes that were going to be done, and we'll click on yes, and we'll wait for the configuration to take effect. On the top left corner, we'll see on our browser how the IP, when it's finished, will be changed. So here we have it. The IP is already changed, and we can go on and configure our keyboard layout. So we'll put it in Spanish for my case, and the time zone we'll put Madrid, and we have an temperature where we can put it, the server date and the hour if you want to change it. Then we'll go to the security part. So we'll put the password for the user for the machine. In this case it's going to be UDS. You can see it, and we'll click on next. Now here we'll do the connection to our UDS broker. We have to choose if it's going to be by HTTPS or HTTP. If we don't have our certificates, we'll put it with HTTP by the port 80. We'll put the IP of our UDS server, .50. We'll click on next. It will be very easy, already connected. And now we'll pass to our certificates. The same thing as before. You need to put them, you can put them in. And we'll click on next, and the configuration will be completely finished. And we'll see how our tunnel will be starting to reboot, and we will have it connected with our server and our database. So we'll have our UDS platform completed, totally functional. I hope this video helps you a lot, and thank you very much for your time. Bye.